Hey, welcome traders and welcome to our weekly forex forecast. And on today's episode, I'm going to show you guys where EUR, DXY, GBP, and Bitcoin is heading to ahead of next week trading. Sorry for the delay on our videos. My laptop got issues, and that's why I'm coming back today. I've got my laptop fixed, and yeah, I'm coming back today for our weekly forex focus, and I hope we have a fruitful trading week for this week. So if this is the first time you are stumbling on this channel, I usually do daily forex forecast on this following pairs and weekly forex forecast. So this particular one is weekly ahead of next week, just a way to keep you prepared. So on today's episode, I'm going to talk about how price has been ranging and where you should look out for, what you should focus on next week, going in next week, so that you'll be properly position yourself to take a fruitful trade with me. So stay with me while we dive into the chart. First, as you know, I usually start with dollar index. So this is the dollar index, and I'm using capital.com, and this is the weekly chart for the dollar index. So we've seen that last week we thought that the week will expand all the way to this low, but we fall short of the week. Despite it's this NFP CPI week, we still did not get all the way down here, which is showing that there is a heavy rejection in price. Although price wants to go higher, but there's been a heavy rejection in price to go lower. Most of the candles, most of the past 3 weeks, okay, the past 4 weeks, which is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, the past 4 weeks have been having a range in candles, and no candle with a large wick higher, showing a rejection to go lower. But we still have a liquidity here, and this liquidity here, which is sell side here liquidity and sell side liquidity, which is our main target. But one of the things I feel about price is that if we eventually come for this low, we might see a very sharp move higher, meaning that this might be a liquidity sweep to go higher and retrace back into the monthly range, which might also take some time for this to play out. But until we have getting to this low or this low, then we might not see any retracement, or we form an SMT with dollar, with EU or GBP, then we can actually say, okay, price is going to reverse. But one of the things we are seeing is actually price on DXY, price is at discount level. If you look at the weekly, if you look at both the weekly and the monthly, sorry, if you look at the weekly, not monthly, if you look at the weekly price, you see that the price range, you see that DXY is at discount price, and because we are in a discount, trying to sell in a discount is not a very good idea, and there is so many rejection for price to go higher, but we keep rejecting lower because there is a liquidity around this area. So until price gets all the way to down to this liquidity, we don't have much to do. So we just keep projecting that okay, price is going to continue going lower. But anyway, let me show you guys deeply how where price should retest to next week, and how you should position for each Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, how you should position yourself for next week. So but since we already know that our bias for next week is going to be bearish, and we are going to look for on DXY, right, we are going to look for a bearish trade, then let's go on a daily time frame and see how price is, reflecting the higher time frame bias. Now on the daily time frame, right, we sorry on the daily time frame, we have a our point of interest around this area, right? This is our range. This high and this low is the range for DXY daily contract, we've seen that price has already retest to the 70%, even below the 70% region, because of the new spike which that occurred with CPI on Thursday. But now we have reject lower and we have our daily fair value gap, which if price wants to retest next week, since we have been having large week high, that is, we having a large week above the candle. So if next week is going to repeat the same print that the previous week have been printing, then we're going to see that Monday or Tuesday retrace, sorry, retrace back to this daily fair value gap. Otherwise, if there is no sign of market repricing higher or retracing back to this level, then we're going to see a heavy price momentum lower. So as long as price is still above here, then we can anticipate for a retest on this daily fair value gap before price swing lower for our draw on liquidity. My main expansion for next week on DXY is this self buy side liquidity, which is the weekly intermediate buy side liquidity and this previous week low. So that is basically for DXY. And if we go on a 4 hourly time frame, there's no much here which um which we can point out, but there is something you have to note on this 4 hour time frame. Now on the 4 hour time frame, we've seen that this is a good turtle soup, which is just like an inducement, and price is going to sweep that inducement to go lower. That is what I'm anticipating more, what I would likely love to see price did do Monday or Tuesday next week. But if we short, or we if price fail to come all the way above this high, above this 4 hour swing high, then we're going to see price move heavily lower. So that is it for, especially for Monday trading. We should be neutral for Monday, meaning that we are going to wait to see where price is expanding to. And one of the things you need to know, I don't only share or tell you that price is going here, price is going here. After telling you why, I might even throw some high insight trading setup for you guys to follow. So one of the things I would like to tell you guys today is that if we are going to be bearish tomorrow, then price is going to have a, like, if we are going to be bearish on Monday, right, price is going to have a very swing low, that is going to keep expanding lower, which is going to indicate to us that okay, price is willing to go lower. But if we are going to be bullish for Monday to seek for previous week Friday high, which is this particular swing high, then we're going to see an expansion higher, and the highest we can come is this daily fair value gap before we see price continue to go lower. So let's go to EU, which is our major focus. So if we look at EU and we start from the weekly time frame, we've seen that EU also has been a choppy price. The price action for EU is being choppy. We see a long week lower, long week lower. So if next week is going to have a longer week, just the way these ones have, then we're going to see price come lower below the previous week Friday candle low, and optimously we might see price get to 50% of this candle wick, which is the candle wick consequent encroachment. And looking at the euro, I'm anticipating for price to seek for previous week high before coming lower, or any form of what price reaction above this area. And my highest expansion is this intermediate weekly buy side liquidity. So if you look at the daily time frame, right, we've seen that even the previous week Friday candle on euro did tap on the fair value gap, because we did have a retest on this daily fair value gap. Then price is going to, or I'm not anticipating for price to come all the way down to this area, and price should keep going higher. But anyway, one of the major things you should look out for we might have an SMT divergence, meaning that the XY might reach the fair value gap, but euro might fail to reach it. But but until then, before we see it. But anyway, you should just be more conscious about where, or if you are taking any shots, if you are going to go against the trend. And if you see this candle range here, this our daily range, we see that the daily range here shows a low here and a high, and price has retraced all the way back to this daily order block. Sorry, this daily, yeah, daily order block, and we see a rejection, and this is CPI walk. So next week is showing a very good momentum for higher prices. So we should be continue to anticipate for higher prices until this, especially this monthly CRT candle taking, or this buy side liquidity taking. So my highest expansion for next week is this particular buy side liquidity, which is this after the previous week high, just above the previous week high. So if we take that, I'm not sure price might come all the way to this high, but maybe prior to next week or before this month close. But it can also be giving us a very bullish candles, then we are going to get here. But for now, we should just put focus our have our main focus on this buy side liquidity as our main target. So if you also go to the 4 hourly time frame, sorry, that was network. But if you also go to the 4 hourly time frame, you see that we have a fair value gap here and a fair value gap here, but price has come all the way down to this particular fair value gap. I didn't want to add this fair value gap so that it will not interrupt the daily fair value gap, and price has reached all the way down to this area, and we have retest back from it, which is one of the major criteria or reason why I'm not sure price is going to come all the way back to this daily fair value gap again, since we have already used the euro discount fair value gap. But anyway, price might still retrace, but not as deep as it is going to go on EU, but we might see a slight retracement in price. So I just wanted to share that I used to also do share my trade setup on our Telegram channel, which you can see on our bio. And also please do subscribe, comment, ask question. If you have any question, do ask your question on the comment section, and give me my video a thumbs up. Thank you, god bless you. So let's go to the hourly time frame for EU. So if on EU I want to see if price is going to come all the way, we should have a turtle soup around this area, then the turtle soup can take us higher. Can't you if you if you see vividly, you're going to see a relatively equal height, which is a very good area of what buy side liquidity. And I'm feeling, or I'm sure price might likely take this during the Asian session before coming lower on Monday. We might see Asian price move impulsively and sweep this area, or retest to this area. Might not sweep it completely, with price to this area and above it, then price lower during London, then maybe New York might take it back up, and then we can project for Tuesday, Wednesday to continue going higher until the market shows otherwise. So let's go to GBP. GBP has been very problematic. All right, so I'm going to show you why I say that on the daily time frame. So this is the weekly time frame on GBP, but GBP or cable has a very good candle, right? I love the kind of candle GBP had for last week. We didn't have this kind of weak, very impulsive week or choppy candles. We have a normal trading candles with normal body and wick, so which is showing that overall price is bullish going in next week on GBP. And GBP, even if we are going to retrace, is going to be very small, then we're going to expand all the way to our previous week high. Then the next possible high we might see on next is this particular July 25 candle high. This particular candle, the high might be the highest expansion for next week. I really don't want to add that to my chart, but because I don't want my chart to be so, I want it to be so clean. Now this is why I said cable has been very problematic. Cable falls short of this our fair value gap. So we have a fair value gap here, which is another draw on liquidity that price should go to internal before going for external range liquidity. Now we failed to go to the internal range liquidity, which is our SMT divergence if you correlate it with the dollar or EU. So the GBP failed to retest on this daily fair value gap, and price continue going higher. And we see that Friday was a bearish day for GBP, and price almost reject back, creating a longer wick, meaning or indicating a very impulsive trade. Now if you want to look back here, is that we have a fair value gap here. So this would be probably our highest expansion next week. That doesn't mean we are not going to come all the way back to this monthly CRT candle or CRT high. This is our monthly CR high. So we are going to, which is particularly this particular candle, the Tuesday 1st July 2025 candle high. So price might actually or come back all the way to this area and seek that high. But before then, I'm projecting that next week we're going to see price all the way back, all the way up to this fair value gap, which is going to make price to reject and come lower, maybe towards Thursday or Friday. But anyway, this previous week high is our initial draw on liquidity, and as long as EU or the dollar is still showing higher prices, as long as EU is still showing higher prices, then we are still good to go on GBP. I told you guys I don't trade GBP on a daily, but I used to trade it on a weekly perspective. So what can we wait for on a weekly perspective before taking any trade on EU? So on any trade on GBP. So GBP mostly I'm anticipating that when we open lower, so Monday for next week is going to be the low of the week for GBP. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or Friday could be the high for next week on GBP. So GBP is very bullish, and yeah, if not much bullish, but GBP is going to go to higher prices. So next week I'm looking at GBP retesting back to this 4 hourly um fair value gap. This is a 4 hour fair value gap. So if GBP reprice back to all the way back to this 4 hour fair value gap, then this or the low of this candle can be the low if the bullishness in price is very paramount. So that's like 50 pips though, but not much, but it's very easy, objective, and very okay, and 70 pips stop loss. So that's very good. That's like 1:3. But I'm not saying, and what I'm saying is if price get all the way back here and I see an SMT divergence, then I am likely to participate on this trade, seeking for this previous week high buy side liquidity. And then if we go on a 1 hour time frame, yes, we've seen that this particular fair value gap we call out, price has retested on it multiple times. All right, and we have an order block here which price might not really like to, might not retrace into. But why are we not going to paste any trade as soon as the market open? We're going to wait for what Monday is likely to do most. All right, if Monday is showing energy that Monday is going to be the low of the week, the market will tip its hand, right? By what? By using this particular fair value gap as the key level to go higher. So that is it for GBP. And if you come to Bitcoin, right? So If you with me, you understand that I've been calling BTC, I've been anticipating for Bitcoin to price all the way back to this weekly fair value gap. But one of the thing I used to say that when price gets back to this weekly fair value gap, we should see a rejection lower. But now nothing like a rejection lower, and price is still showing a heavy bullishness in price, and price is not willing to come lower, which is another criteria for me. I'm not taking any or trying to participate in any entry on Bitcoin until Monday or Tuesday. So I will see if Monday closes above, then price might actually be bullish and we might actually be seeking for all this high. But until this week closes, which is going to close tomorrow, so we don't know what tomorrow is likely to do though. But this is a bearish order block which price has already violate it, right? Meaning showing that this order block does not hold the stand, and price might likely reject it and come lower. So for now, we am still in support of a bearishness in Bitcoin. But before we see that bearishness, I'm sure price is going to come all the way back up, or price is going to come back here and it might become very bullish. Meaning that if price should close above, meaning if price should close above this area, we might see a retest on this fair value gap, then we have a bullish move. Or otherwise we might see price next week sweep this high, then price lower and retest on the fair value gap, then go lower. So any of this is likely to play out, but I want to wait and see what the market is showing before I actually anticipate. So my hands are tied up on Bitcoin for now, and let's go to the 4 hour and see if there is actually any sign of price rejecting to come lower. But none yet. And this high is very, see, look at the way the candle closes. That is very good example, showing you that there is a liquidity above here which price might likely seek for before going lower if we actually price is still bearish. But anyway, that is just my opinion on Bitcoin. And whatever your opinion is, you can do what you think fit. But for now, my hands are tied on Bitcoin. But I think due to the global economic condition, with the little wars spiking here and there, Bitcoin might still continue to go higher. All right, because Bitcoin is moved by fundamentals and all, so we might still see a short time bullishness in Bitcoin, which is going to be driven by the news event and all. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and please I'm saying please, well, subscribe and follow us for more. See you tomorrow.